Morning, good to see you. All right, well, it is a little bit after 9 and we are recording, so I'm gonna get us started because we do have a lot to cover today. So we are gonna start today with just a quick introduction. We did a longer introduction last time, so if anybody has any follow-up questions from last time, feel free to put them in the chat or come off mute and ask those. But I feel like we all kind of know why we're here. But we're going to frame it today actually with a special guest. So I'll introduce her in a minute. Lisa Borrego is going to come and talk about family and community engagement. And then we have two amazing presenters today, Dr. Kirsten Northenskold and Dr. Dee Dee Watts. And so we will have breaks in between both all of the presenters. So that way, if you guys need a break or a bio break or some food or whatever, feel free to step away then. And while we are all entering, if you could put your preferred name, your residency or program name, and the focus area in the chat, that would be awesome. And while you're doing that, I want you to be thinking about our connector question, which is on the next slide, which I'll put up in a second, which is like thinking about your rock star mentors in your program or people you might have had in your own experience that have been really great mentors and like what made them great. So just think about that because that's going to be the next slide. All right. So thinking of your program's rock star mentors, what makes them great or made them great if they are not currently mentors? Or you could also think about, like, I know some of you guys might be in new programs, so think about mentors you've had in induction or in your own preparation or anything that might apply here. Just thinking about what makes a great mentor kind of generally. Marisa says motivated by their own opportunities to learn from being a mentor. Love learning from others, including students. Absolutely. Okay, so thinking about your program's Rockstar Mentors, I want you to like keep that close, as we're going through this session today. Open to new ideas. Thank you, Kathy. I love that. I think there's like a theme so far about sorry, I'm just also reading what people are putting in the chat. Passing the baton to the next cohort coming along and able to share what they learned. So it's really this like learner mindset, it seems like, people that are reflective and willing to learn from others. And I want us, like, as we go through the session today, to also embody that because we're going to learn a lot. And you're going to be able to take some things immediately to go into your program and be like, I'm going to implement this tomorrow. And there's some things you might need to kind of sit on and think about, how does this look for me? And so obviously I believe that we are all learners here. That's why you're here. But just, think about those mentors as you engage with the content today. As always, I just want to remind us that our characteristics ground all of the work we do here at the lab. And today we're really going to be focusing on equity, which is the first characteristic, mentorship, which is the 8th, and the 5th, which is effective hiring practices. And then we will still have 2 more sessions left after this, March 21st and April 28th. But you will also get individual invitations, and we'll talk about this at the end, for your individual program coaching as well. And so I would just love to hear if there was anything from the first session that inspired you. I would love to hear what that was. And then also, what are you hoping to learn more about or gain from today's session? I'm going to pass the baton already, and I'm really happy to introduce another leader from within our organization at the CDE Foundation, Lisa Borrego. She's the Senior Director of the California Family and Community Engagement Initiative. The California Family and Community Engagement Initiative is dedicated to strengthening homeschool partnerships across the state. The Family and Community Engagement Initiative works to empower educators, schools, and families with the guidance, tools, and resources that they need to unlock every learner's potential. As a trusted statewide hub for family and community engagement, they provide leadership and support to create meaningful connections that drive student success. I've asked Lisa to come today to frame our session and talk about how engaging your community in your programs can help develop your mentors and even strengthen your educator preparation programs. Lisa comes with over 25 years of experience, and she's been at the forefront of fostering partnerships that bridge schools, families, and communities. Her work has spanned statewide coalitions, nonprofit collaborations, and educational initiatives that have brought critical resources and funding to communities across California. From leading the School Smarts Family Engagement Program with the California State PTA to directing the Family and Community Partnerships in San Juan Unified School District, Lisa has remained committed to empowering parents and educators alike. Most recently, as the Director of Family Engagement and later the Director of the Whole Child Division at the California Department of Education, she championed efforts to uplift students and practitioners statewide. Please join me in welcoming Lisa.
Good morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you this morning. And thank you, Kate, for sharing that information. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Kate, and thank you again for this opportunity to be here. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to speak about family and community engagement as a critical component to school and student success for all. I really want to talk about a little family and community engagement as a pillar of education for equity and access. I think oftentimes when we think about our students, we acknowledge the fact that they come with their families, whether they be their biological families, their families of an extended family. They may even come with system-wide supports. And so when we're really thinking about engaging students to improve their overall success, really thinking about the communities that they come with helps to kind of recognize who they are and what their needs might be as they're entering the classroom. And so I just want to begin by discussing the benefits of family and community engagement and its role in fostering a school environment that is inclusive and accessible to all students. Here are just a few examples I want to discuss. Bridging opportunity gaps. Engaging families and communities ensures that all students, regardless of socioeconomic status, have access to resources, support, and opportunities that enhance learning, including but not limited to access to current curriculum, technology, enrichment programs, high school course offerings, and including positive adult relationships. Thinking about it related to culturally responsive education, meaningful engagement with families and community members acknowledges the diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds of students and their unique perspectives, experiences, and knowledge that can enrich the learning environment. A shared responsibility for student success. Education often requires a partnership between schools, families, and communities to support student learning and well-being. When everyone is working together, students have higher academic achievement, better attendance, and improved social emotional development. Breaking down systemic barriers. Typically, our traditional education structures often exclude marginalized families due to language, work schedules, or unfamiliarity with school systems. However, when schools proactively engage all families to learn more about how to overcome these barriers, parents and caregivers feel like they have a voice in their child's education and are more likely to participate in school activities. And I think oftentimes we don't realize how important engaging our community partners, our community programs and supports in relation to the school community, but it absolutely helps to strengthen social capital. Community partnerships often provide students with mentors, role models, and access to networks that can influence future opportunities. By engaging families in community, they can often foster connections amongst each other, which helps to strengthen a school community. So when we think about how community is not just engaging with statewide partners or local nonprofit, it really is about how we build community within our own school system to help support one another around student success. And then also enhancing student motivation and identity. When students see their families and communities valued inside of the school, they feel a greater sense of belonging and motivation to succeed. Representation in curriculum and decision-making fosters student confidence and engagement. And I really want to highlight and appreciated that statement when students see their families and communities valued inside of the school. And so, how do we recognize that a school community is a place for all adults and students to be able to feel connected and to have a sense of belonging and identity? And then finally, policy and decision making. Education systems that involve families in school and policy governance help to ensure diverse voices and shape educational practices. Parent and community advocacy leads to more just and inclusive policies that reflect the needs of all students. So, when we see our families and our parents as allies, as partners, it strengthens our ability to support our students within the classroom and within the school community and educational structure. I just want to provide a little bit of background about a framework that is often used in the field of family engagement and community engagement. This is a very well known model that is used not just by educators, but by system leaders and policymakers. This is the dual capacity framework, and I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat. So if you want to look at it a little bit closer. The dual capacity framework was developed by Dr. Karen Mapp. Dr. Mapp is a senior lecturer at the Harvard Graduate School of Education and a leading expert in family and community engagement in education. Her work centers on strengthening relationships between schools, families, and communities to improve student outcomes. The dual capacity emphasizes building the capacity of both educators and families to foster meaningful engagement. And that engagement is seen as a shared responsibility, not just a school initiative or a parent obligation. Furthermore, the framework outlines 4 essential conditions that must be in place for successful school-family partnerships. Relational, building trust and respect between families and educators. The link to learning, focusing on student learning and development, not just involvement in school events. Developmental, strengthening the knowledge and confidence of both families and educators. And collaborative, encouraging shared leadership and decision making. And I really just want to take a moment before I close on this slide to really emphasize this idea of the link to learning. I think oftentimes when we think about engaging families or community, we're not always seeing them as a direct connect to being that additional homeschool partner when it comes to linking what is going on in the classroom to learning and helping them support the work in the classroom. Even though they may not be content experts, they can absolutely reinforce what's going on in the classroom. And being able to see parents as an ally to that link to learning element is really critical in helping to build. I just want to just kind of close with this slide is that this is often a foundational framework that we use in conversations with practitioners that we talk with, whether it's through educators or through statewide community-based organizations who are doing family engagement. We recognize that over time, something that wasn't happening as we were working with our families and building their agency around leadership and ability to advocate for themselves, there was not a direct focus on helping to build the capacity of our educators simultaneously. And so ultimately, that's what this framework is really designed to help recognize and bring attention to, and ensure that we are also having those conversations when we think about building those partnerships, that both our education community and our families need to have the opportunity to have the skills and abilities to support one another and to strengthen that relationship. And then very quickly, I just kind of want to talk about the value of our family, school, and community partnerships. I've spoken a little bit about it, but when we think about how important it is for it to focus on supporting student learning, and again, seeing our families and our community members as part of that ecosystem can help to engage families, ensuring that all students, regardless of their background, receive the support they need. When you think about where the community is and what that need of that community looks like, and how supporting students in that area may look very different in Bakersfield as it would in Shasta County or in Fresno County or LA Unified. And then also how we incorporate diverse perspectives. Families bring cultural knowledge, traditions, and experiences that enrich the learning environment. Culturally responsive teaching includes listening to families and integrating their voices into the classroom. And then strengthening the student motivation and belonging. When students see their families engaged in their education, they feel valued and develop a stronger sense of identity. Teachers can help foster this by inviting families to share stories, expertise, and traditions in class discussions or projects. Fostering trust and positive relationships, as mentioned before, families are more likely to engage when they feel welcomed, respected, and heard. And then, as we always know, regular positive communication, not just when there's an issue, builds trust and encourages collaboration. And then leveraging resources. Again, when we think about the challenges that we have in education, both financially or programmatically, schools do not operate in isolation. Connecting with local organizations, businesses, and cultural groups provides additional support for students and families. So when we can think beyond the classroom and really think about those that are interested in the overall well-being of individuals and communities, there's a lot of opportunity to build those relationships and partnerships. So that is an opportunity that can occur in schools by identifying community resources that align with students' needs and interests. And then I'll just conclude by sharing with you, there has been a lot of research and work over the years, probably at least over 25 years, in the space of family engagement, family and community engagement. And the guiding documents that are on the screen are great places to start if you want to learn more or imagine how to begin that school to home relationship. So these are links and tools that one can review and check out if they're interested. And I'll just focus the school, family, and community partnerships. The one on the far left that's the only book that requires a purchase. The rest are all free resources. But would love for you to check those out if you have a moment. And then I just want to thank you so much for letting me spend a little time with you this morning. I provided a slide with links to the California Family and Community Engagement Initiative. We would love for you to consider joining our listserv to learn more about what is happening around the state in family and community engagement. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. I have one question for you. Do you mind? Sorry.
Absolutely.
I'm just wondering when people are like when programs are thinking about family and community engagement and integrating that into the educator preparation side of things. So, people that aren't necessarily in the classroom yet, but are planning for their first year in the classroom, what are the types of things that they should tell them to do as like the first steps of getting the community or families involved?
So right now there is a real interest in the family and community engagement field in California because, as you know, the California teaching standards have included family engagement language, and so we're working with a group of both higher ed, educator preparation programs, and statewide nonprofits that are really trying to work together to show what it means to potentially have maybe think about community-based projects or a project where a teacher could walk alongside a mentor teacher that may already be doing things in a school community or interviewing families and just kind of learning and taking the time to really understand the ecosystem of a community to help them kind of step outside of the classroom and really become aware of kind of what the community looks like, the surroundings, what may be going on to help provide context. And many people may also have heard of the Parent Teacher Home Visit Project. That is a really recommended strategy where folks can go and visit with families with other colleagues to better understand kind of where families are coming from and how to potentially partner with them throughout the year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, if any questions come up, please feel free you can send them to me. I can forward them on to Lisa and she can, I'm sure, answer them and we'll get back to you.